Hello and greetings from the hallowed peaks and valleys of northern Appalachia. I'm in North Conway, New Hampshire, and this is Mountain Bikers Riding Bikes, talking about trails. My name is Bryce Scherbach, and I love this place. North Conway would be sort of the epicenter of the Mount Washington Valley. Mount Washington is, of course, the highest point in the northeast of America. It's really the highest point east of the Mississippi and north of North Carolina. Mount Washington sits at 6,288 feet and casts quite a large and imposing shadow over its valley. It's beautiful. The Presidential Range, which would be the summits and the peaks sort of around Mount Washington, are incredible. This entire valley is lovely. It's really well known as kind of a breeding ground for World Cup skiers. There's a handful that call North Conway home or the surrounding area home. And more recently, it's become a breeding ground for world-class mountain bike trails. Ride NOCO, NOCO is of course shorthand for North Conway, is the trail association responsible for maintaining and developing, designing, building new trail here. They do an amazing job. They have been for several years. They have a very dedicated contingent of volunteers, and we'll be spending today riding bikes with a couple of them. We have Pete Ostrowski, who is a friend of mine. He's a former World Cup racer, former Enduro World Series racer. He's probably one of the most talented mountain bikers in North America still. And honestly, Pete's very much responsible for a lot of what you see in North Conway today. I'm also joined by Mike LeBlanc. Mike spent 6 years as the president of Ride NOCO. Last fall, he stepped down from that role, but he's still heavily involved in everything trail related and really volunteer related. Mike, Pete, and myself are going to check out a couple trails here. We're going to dive deep into the weeds of the trail planning, the layout, the design, some of the professional trailbuilders they've brought in, including Night Eyed, and also the volunteer community and sort of the energy that continues to build and grow behind mountain biking here.
We're in the hurricane zone, and right now we're on basically the summit of Cranmore Mountain Resort, Cranmore ski area. And we just came down really a main thoroughfare for us. It's like the upper trail that feeds into the whole zone. So you can access really every trail on the hurricane zone from this trail. It's called Surfs Up. And it was built, what, 2020 or 2019?
2020.
2020 by Night Eyed, who's, I'd ride.
Legendary trail builder.
Legendary, built most of the rad trails in New England. And, you know, Night is so good at, like you just said, Bryce, like picking out little side hits and keeping flow and like holding speed without getting like overbuilt.
Yeah.
Like that trail really has a natural feel, and he built, the whole thing with a small machine, him and his crew. And there's a lot of handwork that went in there too, but there's a lot of roots left. There's a lot of like natural undulations. Like it drains incredibly well. It's just the right pitch. And really that trail came about because we used to ride down a hiking trail that's really, really fun also, but there's hiker traffic and everyone's bombing down here like ready to get rowdy with their bros to smash Charlie or whatever, and there's families hiking up the trail, and it was a really
problematic for sure.
Yeah. So fortunately the GM of Cranmore Mountain Resort, his name is Ben Wilcox. He's an amazing individual, and he's also a fanatical mountain biker, so it's been great working with him over the years. He's really been able to, he's one who's really responsible for making this whole thing work.
The other piece is this trail has kind of been our flagship trail as far as getting volunteer hours up here and engaging the community in the build. And in 2020, when Corbett came and helped us relay it out and bring the machine up, that was kind of the kickstart of the Ride NOCO push to get a gravity network and be on our own. And I think from what I've heard and experienced, like the last couple of years, this is our highest used trail, but also we get the most volunteer hours maintaining this trail to keep it as fresh as we can.
With handwork, it's almost incredible the refresh it can get, and like the state you can get it back to like being really, really fun and feeling really, really fresh, even though it gets an enormous amount of traffic. But the work Corbett did this spring was really pretty special. Where we are right now is we're on top of Cathedral Ledge in North Conway, and the trails we were riding earlier today are right over there on Cranwell, which you can see the resort. You can see Hurricane Mountain, which is to the left, which is what the trail system is named after, and the top of the Black Gap. But we're directly on the other side of the valley. Where we are currently is State Park, and the trail we're going to ride is called Half Day, and it's essentially like a lot of the trails over in the hurricane system, Canada, for example, it was a bootleg trail that we adopted, and it was a much beloved bootleg trail, I should say, because it's one of those trails that, you know, pretty down the fall line, like a lot of jank, stuff that everyone loves, including myself.
Some loam.
Yeah, but not remotely sustainable or maintainable is the important thing, you know. And it was one of those situations where we have a really good relationship with the White Mountain, the Saco District and White Mountain National Forest, and we wanted to keep that trail accessible for riding. And they'd never done anything like shut it down on us, but that was definitely a possibility. So it was one of those projects where we really didn't want to change the flavor of the trail and keep it open, like keep the raw nature of it, keep the loamy nature of it. And there's only a couple people around in the east that can transform a total bootleg trail into something that resembles a bootleg trail but is official, that the land managers are happy with. Of course, we got I'd involved again with iRide, and those guys came over and we relayed it out, worked closely with the National Forest, which was really easy to do because the folks in the Saco Ranger District are awesome. You made the comment pedaling up, like, God, it's just ridiculous terrain everywhere, and it's like tall pines, big hemlocks, all evergreens, and the forest floor is, you know, it's a big canopy, it's all dark in there, loam everywhere, like really nice grade, so it wasn't hard for Knight to pick something that was awesome. The hardest thing was like deciding which amazing line you should take in there, and then building drainage and actually doing the handwork. Now we have a trail that, you know, it's not as gnarly as before, like you can't doubt that, but the flavor is the same. It's sustainable, it's maintainable now. You know, it's like every mountain bike trail is going to require work, but it's something that the Forest Service is happy with and that locals are happy with, and, you know, everyone's happy with, because you come up here and, you know, it's just gorgeous, and you get to shred some ridiculous loam all the way down. So.